Welcome back to this weird and wonderful self-care series. So I actually got a request from my TikTok. Someone asked for me to do tips and advice on the current housing crisis in the UK, council housing for single people on benefits, mortgages and high interest rates. So I have to kind of put it out there that I don't work in the council. So everything that I've kind of looked up is available online. There is an independent body called Citizens Advice, and I would always recommend people to go to them. So those are actually qualified individuals in various sectors, from lawyers to accountants to council members that volunteer their time to give advice to people that require it on a number of different issues, from like debt to finance to housing. Yeah, I'd always recommend to go to those, the Citizens Advice. So I'll drop a link for them down below. I do know their opening hours are quite hit and miss at times. You have to kind of remember these are people that are volunteering their time, and they don't get paid to do it, but they are an amazing help. I've actually used them in the past. I highly recommend going to them. So what I've kind of looked at, there are a couple of people I know that are on council housing waiting lists, and both of these are actually mothers. They have children and they are looking for new accommodation, new housing. From what I've looked up online, the council housing waiting lists, they can be from like 18 months to years. The reason behind that is there's a shortage of available housing for the council to buy, but I suspect there's also limited funding for the council to buy these properties and to build them. There's a construction shortage, I believe, for council housing, so there is that. This applies for the UK. I don't know if I said this, but yeah, if you're on the UK council housing waiting list, you could be on there for a long time. There are a few factors to that may speed up your application, and that can be when you are forcibly homeless, displaced. So if you've got friends and family to rely on where you can kind of go and stay with them, the council kind of keep you at like a lower level of that list. If you are in dire straits where you're completely like you've got nowhere to go, then I think that kind of tends to bump up applications. It is all a mess, obviously. I mean, if anything, it just shows that our tax money is not going to where it is needed, and this is where like I'll warn you all to put your tinfoil hats on. So yeah, the reason why like there's a shortage of council housing, I mean, if you walk down the street, half the time you'll come across like an abandoned house or an abandoned building, and like common sense, I suppose, kind of pushes you to think, well, cannot the council buy that property? I don't know if that was English, but yeah, considering the amount of money that we actually put into our taxes. And I was actually thinking about this, we pay tax on everything. So we pay tax on our wages, we pay council tax, which is like where you're living, the property that you're living at, you pay council tax on that, which is supposed to cover local amenities like your police, your bin collections, various things like that. But we also pay tax on food, drink, everything. So even our bills, I believe like there's value added tax on those. Any products that you buy, there will be like value added tax on them as well. So we pay tax on everything. So where is all that tax money going? Tinfoil hats at the ready. But our tax goes into a pot, and that pot is accessed by the government body. So the government body is supposed to redistribute, is that a word? I think it is. So the government body is supposed to distribute that money into various sectors, be it like the hospitals, so the NHS here in the UK, schooling, transport, public transport, everything that's kind of supposed to be available to us, like public sectors and things like that. But unfortunately, you have corrupt government officials, allegedly, speculatively. So politicians, they're actually supposed to be like, it's set up, so it's supposed to be like a voluntary thing. So I'm going to become a politician. So what happens then is they go around fundraising, and they get sponsors and things like that. So a lot of these politicians, they get sponsorship money, and they also take a wage, especially if they get to be a member of parliament, so an MP. Otherwise, a lot of them are voluntary, where they do rely on sponsorship money and then apply for like their expenses to be paid back to them. So I know from looking into various politicians that most of them actually claim expenses on homes and rents and whatever else they seem to put forward to their accounts team. So what is actually happening? So that pot of money is being accessed by the government and being put into private investment, and a lot of it is actually foreign private investment. Hiccup. So that can be anything that kind of is supposed to bring the money back to like that pot here in the UK, and it does. It works for like every other country out there. But a lot of the time, allegedly, speculatively, that money is not going back into the pot. It is actually going into the pockets of these politicians. So they're very smart, and they actually have their own businesses. So most of them will have shares in businesses, and they will set up like limited companies and things like that. So what happens is the pot money goes out of the country and then comes back into those private businesses, and then sneakily, I suppose, it sounds like the plot of like some movie or like some comic book or something. But yeah, then those particular politicians, I'm not naming names, allegedly, speculatively, maybe this is just like an idea for a film script, who knows. But yeah, what happens then is those politicians have access to the money that they've taken from the pot, got their return of investment back into those companies, and then they take it out. Does that explain anything? I don't know. That's the tax system basically. And yeah, here in the UK, if you're a business owner, you do pay corporation tax if your revenue is over I think it's 85,000, could be 90,000, I think. I can't remember what the last budget was. But if your earnings are like £85,000 a year, then you're liable to pay corporation tax. Now, if you're a foreign company, you are liable to set up UK VAT registration, and yeah, it's free. But again, if you're earning over that threshold of £85,000, then you are liable to pay tax. So again, you're paying tax on everything, you know. That's the tax system in the UK. I don't know, does that explain everything? I'm sure she'll let me know. Yeah, in regards to the housing prices, it's because our money is being divested into places that it's not immediately benefiting people, the common people, us peasants. I'm just kind of inviting like all kinds of trouble, aren't I? But yeah, again, all opinions are my own. They do not reflect my employer, clients, people I know. I can only speak for myself on that. So yeah, self-care tips. It is, I believe, Mental Health Awareness Week here in the UK, and I think the theme for this year is all about movement. So exercise is a big one. So self-care tip for this video is to just make sure you're being as active as possible. So exercise actually helps with anxiety. So if you do kind of find yourself just kind of overthinking things or getting overwhelmed, a good combatant to that would be to do some kind of exercise. So be it like a walk, if you've got anxiety where you don't like going out, which is understandable, you know, then just try and do something at home, be it like press-ups, sit-ups, just something where you're being active. So even if you got up, you did 10 steps or just kind of like, I mean, I can kind of find some kind of a website with a list of like home exercises for people to do if that's beneficial, and I'll drop the link down below. So yeah, totally planned this video, you know. But yeah, the main thing is to be active, and being active, what that does, so like on a science biology level, I never paid attention in science, you know, I dropped it after year 3 I think. But yeah, so what exercise actually does, not only does it kind of focus your mind onto your body, so it's that kind of mindfulness aspect where you're getting back into your body, out of your head, back into your body. It also helps release more oxygen, it carries more oxygen around, so, and if you're eating healthily or kind of making sure you're getting the right vitamins into your body, once you're active, when there's blood cells in our body, this is a terrible science class, but there you go, I've gone from like tax to teaching biology, there we go. Jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah, the blood then carries like the various nutrients to where we need them in our body, and more importantly to our brain, so that's why it's beneficial to be active. And not just that, you do kind of release endorphins and dopamine, so it does actually, it is a mood booster, exercising. And yeah, if you're feeling frustrated, exercise is the best way to kind of express that frustration, I suppose. So that's why a lot of people take up like boxing and really kind of whatever that is, that kind of like more exertive exercise, I suppose. I don't know. So yeah, happy Mental Health Awareness Week. Be sure to look after your mental health. I know the theme is movement and it's all focused on exercise and things, but another self-care tip would be to journal. So like I said in my last video, like my community tab is very much like my public journal. But again, it's because I have no shame and whatever else. Writing is I mean, if anything, that's movement. It's movement for your hands, but it's also a way to kind of dispel those thoughts and get them down in the 3D. Because I think what happens when we get overwhelmed and we're overthinking, it's because there's so much going on up there and there's no real room, like there's no mental table for us to kind of lay it all out. It's just kind of coming here, everywhere. So yeah, writing, I'd recommend writing as a way to kind of get all of your thoughts down. You don't have to show anybody, you can just write it out on paper with a pen and paper. Remember pens and papers. But yeah, writing is definitely a huge one for mental health and just kind of organising your thoughts, your chaotic thoughts. So I'd recommend that. So there's 2 self-help tips, self-care tips, I suppose. And yeah, what's happening now, if you are kind of on social media or if you're not, which is understandable in regards to everything current, but if everyone's on that same page, people are actually doing it's a new movement, I suppose, an online movement where people are blocking celebrities. So why are people doing that? They are focusing on celebrities that not only attended the Met Gala, which is a huge meaningless event that costs a lot of money, and none of that money goes to where it's needed either. It goes on stupid costumes and themes like that. So a lot of these celebrities that attended the Met Gala are the same celebrities that have remained silent on Gaza and everything else that's happening in the world. So the reason people are boycotting and blocking these celebrities, it affects their revenue. So a lot of these celebrities will get revenue from brands, brand endorsement and affiliation and things like that online through social media and things. But it goes back to that thing that we have the power at the end of the day, you know. I go back to that scene, I think it was in Merlin, the TV film thing, back in God knows what year, but Sam Neill and what's her name, Miranda Richardson, where it's Merlin confronting Queen Mab. He tells the people to just turn away from her, and that kind of makes her disappear. So it's that thing of like attention, you know, if you're giving your attention to something, it gives it more power. So if you're taking your attention away from something, you know, becomes powerless. So that's kind of what's happening with this movement. But yeah, it's that thing of taking your attention away from these people, because our attention has actually put these people up on their platform. And I mean, if we're putting these people up on platforms, we want them to be good role models, not just for us, but for like future generations and things. But a lot of it is farcical. So a lot of these celebrities are getting huge amounts of money, they have huge platforms, huge influence, and they're not using it to anyone else's benefit but their own. Yeah, I think it's the end of that kind of celebrity culture, hopefully anyway. So yeah, there's a movement at the minute where people are boycotting and blocking celebrities that have remained silent on Gaza, and again, celebrities that have probably been paid and sponsored by the people committing genocide, allegedly, speculatively. But yeah, that's it. How's that for a video? I don't know. I'm kind of like, yeah, if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about, obviously there's the whole conspiracy theory behind it all, the big bad behind it all, but I'll try and save that for another video, and hopefully not go too deep down the deep down the deep dive. Say that 10 times fast, where, you know, I cause anxiety and people call the police or something. I don't know. I don't know. Again, stay sane inside insanity, and look after yourself. And yeah, again, if there is anything related to like council tax and whatever else, you know, that way I'd recommend going to the Citizens Advice Bureau and asking those people. And I mean, you can ask them like, how do I speed up like my housing application and things like that. But yeah, again, the reason behind it all is the fact that our tax money is not going into where we actually need it. So yeah, vive la revolution. Say la vie. That's it. Yeah, if you enjoyed that, if you're looking forward to the next episode of the weird, wonderful and bizarre self-care series and whatever else, I don't know, let's just talk about everything. What the hell. Subscribe, guys, girls, non-binds. Yeah, Mental Health Awareness Week, so be sure to look after yourself, look after each other, try not to get too caught up in the craziness around us, and that's it, I suppose. Yeah, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind, and bye.